Blob just getting bodies under the disc early and able to capitalise on a wayward throw to Kelvin's, but an uncharacteristic turnover now from Blob, the disc hitting the ground. Kelvin's getting a little bit of reprieve, another chance to put one on the board.
All inside, strike!
Up as Miller's gone straight long. Kelvin Dew's there making a contest of it, but just too quick for Miller.
Both teams starting to get a feel for those long throws now that they're the main option that both teams are looking for, and starting to put players on the deep side of it, giving them both the unders and forcing a few throws to just go a little bit over the heads of the attackers, and an easy block for both defense teams so far, but the cut's drying up a little bit now for Kelvin's Angels.
Dew hanging on to it for a long time, finding a hammerhand who's got herself in power position now. Not many cuts heading deep though. She finds Brown up the line. Right on the doorstep now. Brown urging everyone to clear that open under space. Swings it to Lai. Kelly's picked that one off easily, saw that out of the hand. He shot long, looking for Brad Reeves. He's going to have a bit of work to do. He can get a goal if he wants it. Oh, and he's done it, look at that! The somersault goal in the most unconventional layout form I've seen in some time. He braced himself for that about 20 metres back and taken a clean as you like for a spectacular goal.
Clearly he paid attention to gymnastics class. This throw was thrown out beautifully. It was nearly going to look like he wasn't going to be able to get there, and then prepped himself, planted the feet, the somersault, the choice of option instead of a layout for that catch, Simon. But regardless, he's up in one piece, a fantastic catch, and I don't think we ever could have predicted that that's the way that goal was going to be scored.
I'll be honest, I thought it was going too far, and I was like, oh. But no, I think Reeves has been a gymnastics coach in another life, so that's very clean somersault, that one. That was terrific form.
Tucked the head underneath and everything, focused on the catch, into a roll, straight back up on his feet as well. If he wasn't in, he would have been straight back on that end zone line, ready to throw it again, I reckon. So, fantastic. Again, Blob just capitalising on the turnover, and Kelvin's just not quite attacking the disc. There's been a few throws where the Kelvin's attackers have just stopped running through. Blob have been able to just run through, punish that, and been in a power position every time. We've seen nearly every time that Blob intercept the disc, they've had no one in front of them. They've really had their pick of the field in terms of what throw they want to put up there.
Yeah. And it's, as you get sort of out of pool play into bracket play, you sort of find that, you know, throws that you're getting away with on day one, you're just getting picked off too easily on day two. So just whether the Kelvin's Angels probably, I wouldn't want to see them stop shooting those wide swings, but maybe just sort of put a bit more zip on the pass, just make sure they're getting there quicker. Wilson. Lee, we see a zone look again from Blob. Very loose, very flat. They're just trying to guide them to one sideline, keep him there. So Wilson, Phillip, swinging it quickly. You can see they've got a bit more zip in those swing passes now, not letting them float up. Forcing Blob to move back and forth. The gap opens up in the middle for Dew. Phillip, Lee, backwards to Dew. We're over halfway now. Blob playing two back, so they're going to have to get closer to the end zone before they shoot because both sides of the end zone are well covered here at the moment. Wilson takes the hammer shot looking for Rachel Coe, but puts it just too far for her. So playing 2 deeps has sort of helped them cut down those deep look shots. I would have liked to have seen them advance maybe 5 more metres to the end zone before they took that shot.
Yeah, they were so composed working that disc up the field. It didn't really look like too much trouble for them despite the zone that Blob had put on. And again, just a huck coming out from Blob. This one, he should get there in time. A layout. He's unfortunately been stripped by the ground. A fantastic look again. Every time the turnover happens, Blob just there to hit that deep shot. A floaty pass coming over towards the sideline now as they try and look to get the disc in the middle of the field. A big hole being left open and a fantastic one-handed grab above the head now as Kelvin's Angels, a lot of players ahead of the disc. Great floaty throws being put out. Power position as an open player. The throw nice and floaty, sits up and Kelvin Angels get their second score on the board. Being given a little bit of a chance there, Tsang, with Blob going for a long option. And again, this time, a little bit more composure on that as they work it up the field.
Yeah. You see there, Blob are really covering the end zone there, allowing as few give goes. You can see Copland there had to make the play on that one. And Wilson just was able to pivot underneath him and find the loose player in the end zone there.
Definitely working hard on putting those throws out a bit more floaty, giving their players time to run on it, and it's exactly what you need to do when you're in those positions where you've got players ahead of your defenders and can work that disc quickly up the field. Sometimes you get those give-goes going, you get a little bit excited, you start just lasering them at your teammate rather than just popping them up nicely, and every one of the players then, as soon as that beautiful one-handed catch came out in the middle there, just able to work it up the field. Nice composure shown by Kelvin's and bringing it back to a 3-goal deficit, trying to keep themselves in this one.
Yeah. It's a difficult throw to get well, just that sort of 3 or 4 metre leading floaty pass. Too often you see players just really bullet it like they're throwing a 15 metre backhand and just sort of really put too much on it and just drops out of hand. So it's definitely worth practicing a lot just so that when you're doing it at speed, it just becomes more comfortable.
Luckily as well, I think with the win that we had yesterday, players definitely used to this weekend putting a lot of spin on the disc, and that definitely helps that disc just float up that little bit more. And some experienced players on both lines here, so lots of throwing prowess being shown. And we're going to be going out in a female matching point now with a female pool, and without the wind affecting a lot of these throws today, we've seen some quite good pulls coming out from both teams, getting a lot of distance on this disc.
Nicole Wong sends to Timocles Copland. He's got Reeves drifted deep again. The zone-ish look here. They've transitioned out of it pretty quickly. Kelvin's Angels. Copland bouncing it back and forth. Lowry. Just a little bit of a fumble there from Miller. The throw just put slightly behind her. She had to reach back. So Wilson. He's gestured for Hammerhand to go deep. He's kept it low and flat. Kellen Lowry's going to pick that one off way too comfortably. Finds Copland. Reeves back to Copland. He's got a couple players heading deep, but they're happy to run a couple back and forth, but no somersault from Reeves this time. Copland's just put that one, got just too far for his reach. Wilson to Chi. Hammerhand. Brown well covered. Inside to Miranda Wang. Chi looking deep at the end zone, but no cuts obliging. This time Miranda Wang heads off. Evie Miller's just sort of hanging back there in the end zone. You can see top right of screen waiting for those long shots to come off. Wilson looks at the high break side, puts a high floaty one out, and there you go. Miller's come in to pick that one off pretty comfortably. Clean intercept. Not much cutting action happening for her after the intercept. Moriarty. Lowry had the easy option for Copland, sends it up. Miller coming in short to meet that one. Reeves doubles back for the swing pass. Sends it long, looking for Luau. And fantastic play there by Blob. They were all sort of streaking towards the end zone. Kelvin's Angels were all worried about the long shot to come at some point. And then just we saw a couple of times just some of the Blob players recognise, hey, I've already got teammates going long. I can just double back and get an easy under here.
Yeah, we can see this right here. 2 players running long. He just stops. Kelvin's Angels just focus on the deep of the end zone. A lovely floaty throw, just sitting out there in the back of the end zone. The Cowboys Angels defender not able to get there. And it's probably the first point we've seen where both teams have turned the disc over a few times. Blob getting a little bit excited with the give goes, just either putting it behind their player or, as we said, Simon, just not quite enough spin, not enough float, and having to make their other attacker work a little bit harder to try and reach for that one. So Cowboys Angels definitely given the opportunity to score in that point. And again, finally, Blob just with that composure we've seen all game so far, holding onto the disc, lots of spin on that floaty throw out into the back of the end zone, and it seems to be how they're scoring most of their goals, out that back corners.
Yep. As I said before, both teams fairly youngish squads, but lots of under 24 national rep team talent across both teams. We've got on Blob, we've got Harry White, we've got Evie Miller, and then Kelvin's Angels, we've got Josh Phillip, Kat Buxer, Liv Hammerhand, Kelvin Dew.
Clearly, I need to watch a bit more Australian Ultimate to get my name repertoire going here. So I do apologise if I get anyone's name wrong this commentary. That's what Simon's here for. I'll just provide the lovely insights.
Buxer, Yadana, Co. Sound Yadana getting busy. Great leading pass there to Do. Do keeps going, bounces it with Kat Buxer. Much better movement from Kelvin's Angels there into the front corner with Josh Phillip, and passes were a lot tighter at that point, JP. They were more flat, direct, less loopiness, less ambition on the amount of territory they could cover.
And just picking their gaps beautifully. Like we sometimes tell teams to slow down a bit. They get rushed. They make these quick passes. But you can see here, they just capitalise on the fact that they did have the position. Every one of these players here in front of their defender. Beautiful give-go back there. And at that front post, we normally see teams get a little bit excited, try and hit the front post after the fact. And Josh Phillips just sneaking across the front of the end zone. No one really guarding him. They were trying to protect that throw down the line of the end zone, and no one really protecting that front cone. And a nice clean hold for Kelvin's there. Not too much effort needed to just lightly work that disc up the field.
Yeah, you can see, you saw on the replay there, Harry White, he just tried to run a switch with Brad Reeves, and then Phillip heard the switch call and thought, if I just cut in here, then I've sort of caught them both unawares, and I think straight away Blob players recognise, okay, we didn't do that one very well. But yeah, just good heads-up play there from Josh Phillip.
It's good to see now. We started off with a 4-0 scoreline and we're back to 6-3. So Kelvin's now seem to find their groove, being able to hold on to their O points a little bit nicer, and it's a little bit of a shame for them. They've got some work ahead of them to try and close that deficit. Hopefully get a few breaks for themselves, but they definitely started to tighten their offense, not seeing as many of those wayward throws going away. Maybe a little bit of nerves coming into this quarterfinal against a team that was so dominant yesterday.
Yeah. Copland fields the pull for Blob, and they get moving. Just a match look here from Elvin's Angels on defence. They're sort of flat-ish on the mark, really sort of looking after the long shots down the field, not so much worried about lateral ones. Moriarty to Reeves. Plenty of cutters heading away from him. Copland feels the undergut, puts a wide shot out, looking for Evie Miller. She's got a bit of work to do for this one. And that sails out the back.
No somersault this time around.
No somersaults.
For Blob. I think even if she went for a layout there, I think it was probably going to be out the back of the end zone. Yep. Looks like injury call for Josh Phillips, who's been an impactful player so far for Kelvin's Angels. So hopefully it's only a intermediate injury and he can get back out there again. But Blob, every time during that point, we're threatening the deep and the unders both times. Kelvin's having to really work out where they want to prioritise and cover, because every one of the cuts that was coming under, there was always someone threatening deep. But credit to the Kelvin's Angels marks. Both times they seem to be covering that deep option every time. Happy to give them the unders because they know how deadly the throws have been from Blob this game so far.
Yeah. And of course, so much activity, throwers always have more than one option. So Kelvin's Angels taking their time walking to the line. Had to do a bit of work on defence, so grateful for the easy break. Sam Lee finds space. Got Do in the middle. Harry White with a quick one through block. Well anticipated. Finds Copland. Wants to give go. Well covered off though. Moriarty. Copland fakes the shot. About 10 minutes from the end zone. Bucks are getting flat. Moriarty pops it over the top to Timocles Copland for the 7th goal. And the margin sort of becomes important, JP, because the game's at a 15 at this tournament, but at 80 minutes the score target does come down, but only if a team is within 2 goals. If the margin is 3 or more, it's game over. So 4-goal margin is not where they want to be. They can get their offensive point here, keep it to 3, but they still need to find another break to keep the game going.
And Blob will know that too. They'll know they have the advantage, but hopefully that means that they don't start laxing off a little bit. And we haven't really seen that so far. The attacks on the disc, a fantastic layout bid there to nearly get the block, and from there, just great composure. Little left-hander, high release backhand over the top in front of the player, and just beautiful offense coming out from Blob. They're doing really well. They capitalise on the speedy plays that give goes when they've got that space. If they don't, they're in no rush. They're happy to let their stacks set up in the end zone, happy to let their players work out what they're doing, cut one at a time, work it between the handlers until then. And beautiful offense from Blob. Now a 4-goal lead, and Kelvin's, as we said, going to need a few breaks to try and get that back within 2 at least to give them a chance at that soft cap mark. But we are not too far into this game. As we said, the points are going to be getting scored a little bit quicker today. So we've already seen 10 goals being scored in around 30 minutes of gameplay. So still a lot of game time left for this one. Kelvin's Angels going to be given the option here with their O-line. And that pull landing deep into the middle of the end zone as they center the disc, and already Blob up there, ready to try and press their defense onto them. And a great swing into the middle, and look there, and Blob caught behind the disc for a moment there, but Kelvin's Angels not able to turn around quickly and work that disc back up the field. The hammer look over the top with an open player on this low side of the front post. Fantastic patience being shown now, but Blob quick to realise this, and plenty of Kelvin's players open on this high side. The hammer again from Wilson, going to be look. It's a fantastic look into the back of the end zone. Blob not recognising the open players being left behind the Blob defenders, and just like that, Kelvin's able to answer back very quickly here.
And when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Wilson's found a couple of nice shots, and he's recognised that the Blob zone has sort of started to close in on the disc to take away those give goes. It does open up opportunities for those over the top shots, so you can cover one really well, or both kind of not very well. So they've chosen to cover the short gainers. And obviously Wilson's now hit 2 of those pretty cleanly, so the confidence is going to be up. So I think next time Blob are on defense, I think they'll find they'll spread out, maybe put 2 players out the back again.
And it has such a big effect on the game as well. Like, now that they have threatened the fact that they can throw hammers over the top, Blob have now got 2 areas of the field to guard, whereas I think they were getting a little bit complacent and just realising that they can just let them run deep. They're not really looking for those options over the top. And I think yesterday we would have seen that being quite effective. The wind would have most likely thrown those hammers into the ground or out of bounds. And now with 0 wind on this field, hammers are a perfect option. And good on Jake Wilson there to capitalise on the fact that they weren't going to read that. And as you said, 2 hammers in that point, both times to a player left out in the open by themselves. And again, swinging that disc off the sideline, keeping it in the middle of the field, really opened up their options to be able to pull apart the zone of Blob there and bringing it back to a 3-goal deficit now.
And the winner of this game will go on to face Oblivion in the semi-finals. Oblivion, the silver medalists at last year's Australian Division 2 Championships. They're obviously on the improve this year, looking to go one further.
Paul just leaking out of bounds there. The brick has been called, so Blob will be grateful for getting to start with this disc in the middle of the field, although both teams not really struggling to get it off the sideline today with no wind out there. They're very easily able to swing it, and both these teams seeming to want to guard the midfield a bit more than happy to let that swing go off. And a little bobble of the disc, and Kelvin's given an opportunity here to try and capitalise on Blob's mistake.
At half field, Wilson. Here with his arms out going, I am open here, Jake. But they're happy to bounce it around. They don't want any loose passes. They probably don't want to shoot at the end zone just yet. Doing plenty of work, getting easy unders. Lee. The Bucks are heading deep again. There are a lot of players loosening off their defense, sitting in the end zone, and they've recognised who that loose player was. It was Z.E. Lee, and she gets the goal, an important break score for Kelvin's Angels to bring it back to 7-5.
Wilson just been such an impactful player on this field for the last point as well. And then again, just the vision on the field. You can see the cutters, 2 cutters going towards that front post, drawing all the attention of Blob, and just leaves her open in the middle of the end zone. A lovely out to in flick that just sits in her lap. And
you can see the sacrificial cut here by, who pops into screen here? It was, I think it was Do. He realised, I'm just going to sprint through here. He drew 2 defenders with him, and he realised as soon as he's drawn 2 defenders with him, he's like, someone's free, so he just thought, I'm just going to keep running, get out of here. Wasn't demanding the disc as such, but just open space for his team, and yeah, obviously Jake Wilson was able to spot the unguarded player and float it over the top to her.
And that's what Kelvin's needed. They needed a break. They capitalised on the fact that the turnover happened quite close to their end zone as well, and they were happy to lose a couple of metres a couple of times with their swings to just keep that disc moving, make the Blob defence have to keep moving from side to side, open up those holes, and then, as we saw there, 2 defenders just being drawn into that front post, which they needed to cover. The threat was on by Do, but over the back, Wilson, great vision to see that flick. And Kelvin's now bringing it back to within 2. But Blob will have a chance to take that back to 3.
Long, we've got 3 women back handling, putting all their male matching players downfield. They've really stretched the defense. The 2 deepest really sitting deep, opening up space for an isolated curl. It looks like trying to isolate on Copland, having him one out with Phillip, but Phillip doing well covering him. Miller. Westerpka still staying deep. Miller's urging someone to come under. Long. Finally gets it to Copland and goes wide. Middle of the field opened up now, but Matthew Hudson finding space. He's got a couple of shots wide. He's pointing it up, looking at Reeves. And he's run Lewis Lai underneath it. Doubles back for the catch for his 2nd goal. Blob's 8th, and that will take him to the half break. And while the teams take a few minutes break for half, we're going to take a few minutes break ourselves. We'll be back for the second half in a few moments.
What is spirit of the game?
It's knowing the rules and when they applied.
It's avoiding body contact wherever possible.
It's keeping a positive attitude and enjoying the sport.
It's being fair-minded even when the game is on the line.
It's communicating respectfully with your opponent.
For me, coming to Latrobe City is
about coming together.
It's all about
contrast.
It's nature, national parks. It's the region's history.
A place where stories
and landscapes
collide.
It's completely unique.
Change is happening all around you.
You can really see that.
It's a place where
you'll come away thinking,
I tried something new. Wow, that was something.
I would never have expected that.
I discovered something different. Latrobe City. It's where
it all comes together.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with Ulti TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
And welcome back for the second half of the quarterfinal from the 2025 Victorian Ultimate Championships. Coming to you on Aussie TV thanks to the support of Ultimate Victoria and Latrobe City Council. We're in Traralgon. Bright sunny day, no wind to speak of. Simon Talbot here with Jared Pearce. And what conditions have we got, Jared? It's been fantastic. Fast-paced, high-flying Ultimate.
We were talking about setting up wind turbines around the field and trying to make a few bucks for how much wind there was, and now I think we'd be out of business because it's just a perfect day for Frisbee. Every throw, just so much time to sit up there in the air with the spin, and we've seen Blob get out to an early lead, and Carl's Angels were able to get one break in there, and Kelvin's will get to start on offense now, so hopefully it means they can close that score gap, get a few more breaks in this half. Blob were the ones to take it to half at the score of 8, and so far it's been a tale of who can do the least amount of turnovers.
Yeah. See, Blob have got their zone and they're closing tight on those give-goes with just one player out the back, so we'll see. Kelvin's going to just try and work through till about the brick mark before they try and shoot wide, so Hammerhand now. Lie. Back to Hammerhand, she's got Philip on the low side. Philip can go to Buxer, not quite taking that shot yet. Moriarty's there, ready. Hammerhand now takes the shot at Buxer, advancing them close to the end zone. Cat Buxer finds Philip. He's got a couple of options. Fakes them all out. Wants to throw to a certainty. High stall count now, so has to take the shot. And Brown comes in to meet it. Probably not the best option he had. That would have been a sort of stall 8 or 9 option. I think he spotted up Brown early and thought, all right, if I need to get out of jail, he's there. Let me see if I can do something easier first.
You should be able to see here in the replay too. Lee had his hands out wide in the back of the end zone, once again going, I am free, throw it to me. And we did see yesterday, he has got some hops on him, so he did have some tall players around him, but they could have put it up there. And Kelvin's Angels with the hold, 3 defenders around Josh Phillips there, and you can see him out the back. He's like, just throw it to me. I've got no one on me. And I think you're right, Simon. As you said, Josh Phillips always knew that he had that option of Brown just standing in the middle of the end zone, and managed to land it right in between 2 Blob defenders. It could have been a very different story. I don't know if Lee potentially might have been the better option there, but a fantastic hold. It's what Kelvin's needed to do here, and a little bit dicey towards the end of that end zone. A little bit of confusion in terms of where the cuts were coming from. Josh Phillips stuck on that sideline, but a hold to hold. It's on the scoreboard. 2 goals the difference now, with still plenty of game time left to bring that back.
Call it the Shannon Knoll, the what about me? Yeah. Well, the other one I've heard is the Creed with arms wide open.
Well, we've seen both from Lee so far in this game. Hopefully he will be rewarded with a throw. He's been in some fantastic positions.
Yeah. So it's one thing to keep the margin within 2, but if you want to go for the win, they're going to need more breaks. So we'll see what they come down with here. I suspect it'll be some sort of zone look. As we can see, Chi and Wilson charging up front, so just a match look now. Copland. Long well covered. All the cutters heading away, so it's just going to be Mickael looking for a big gainer here, but they've got all the unders covered, but options found on that high side. This keeps moving. Harry White, about 30 from goal. Takes his time, lets everyone set, get past him. Lateral to Kelly. Copland. White streaking deep. Puts the hammer shot up to the crossfield. It's going to be close. He keeps the toe down. And goal has been signalled. White covering both sides of the end zone there. And an absolute bullet of a hammer throw from Copland gets it to him.
You could almost see that throw coming before it happened. The streak across to the front post, and the next minute just 7 cut back around into the back of the end zone. A fantastic hammer. Nearly not leaving me with an option to keep that one in, but beautiful toe of the line. Blob had the cuts drying up a few times there in that point, but it didn't really seem to hinder them. The handlers were happy to move it between themselves, or the big long flick across the field to open that field up now. And what a hammer. The one-handed catch on the back of the disc as well. That's a tough catch to make, Simon.
Keeping an eye on the toe, the line, the disc. Great awareness there from White.
And as we said, Kelvin's going to need to bring that back to at least a 1-goal deficit when they score, because every time Blob's going to be going straight back out on offense, going to be scoring again and answering back, and they have to assume that that's going to be happening. So Kelvin's Angels put up a good fight, and we've seen now a few hammers coming out. Both teams recognising that those options are open, and it does really open up the field. Do you protect the deep? Do I protect the front post? Do I protect the swing into the front of the end zone? It's really just adding that third layer of a guessing work for the defence.
So we're ticked over 52 minutes, so less than half an hour till time cap. At the pace we've been going, I think we'll get to very close to 15, I think, goals. But obviously if we get to 80 minutes first, that score target may reduce. But Kelvin's Angels will need to be closer, because if the score is margins greater than 3 at 80 minutes, it'll be game over. Hammer hand, Phillip. Bucks his one out with Miller. What a shot. Oh, no. She's just faded away from her at the last moment. Probably a bit too much loft on that one. You can see it fade and curve away from her. She's had to go long. Got a hand to it, but not quite enough to secure the grip.
It was a great look. Had space on her defender there, and the throw was set out nicely. And as you said, Simon, just the last second, just helixed away from her hand. Had to stretch out with the one hand. That's a few times we've seen her on the ground with a layout, so putting her body on the line. But Lee getting a turnover, and an instant turnover back again. Unfortunately, putting the disc behind Josh Phillips there, and Blob getting away with a little mistake in the midfield.
Plenty of cutters heading long. White obliges. This going to drop short. Phillips going to clean that up. Lee on his own. Cutters heading away from him. Doesn't want to take the shot just yet. Phillip shaping to wind up that forehand. He's got Brown wide. He's got Buxer. Brown calls Buxer out of it. She continues up the line. Nice, clean, easy shot. Got a couple of under options. She had 5 metres from the line, pinned to the sideline. Wants to get it back centred. And great little option there. Hammerhand getting the low backhand out to Samuel Lee. This time didn't need to wave at his teammates and have the arms open. They knew he was there, and they find him to get their 7th goal.
Once again, Lee just streaking across the front of that end zone, drawing his defender in, and a lot of teams scoring like that in that option, just that cut across the front, loop back around the back of the end zone, a great swing off the sideline look there, and no one on Lee, and maybe he needs to stop putting his arms out because his teammates seem to look at him when he doesn't do it, but what a look from Kelvin's.
I saw this replay. I think it was Harry White there. He was the second defender. He got drawn by Lee, but then realised he had a teammate already covered, so he actually stopped and tried to double back right as Hammerhand was attacking. Like, she couldn't have timed that better. Half a second later, White would have been in there, and then obviously because White had committed to that, it meant that Lee got back out free and Hammerhand had the easy backhand. So it's risk-free reward. You've got to go for those ones to put pressure on the thrower at least, make them second guess. But sometimes, yeah, if you haven't timed it well, or if there's a heads-up play from the offense to attack the gap you've just created, then, yeah, you're left high and dry.
And it's definitely something that we do see happen from time to time, that the teams with a little bit less experience, they try and just hit the front post. They're stuck down there in that corner, and they're just trying to make that throw. But we saw the composure from Kelvin's. They were happy to get off the sideline. Pretty much a lateral throw. Didn't even have to lose some metres for it. And you can just see how quickly it opens it up. As you said, Simon, the defenders had to split. They had to choose who they were going to cover. And finally, Lee gets one on the board, able to open up that field. And Kelvin's still keeping it in with 2, but Blob will come out here on offense once again, and boy, have they been solid so far.
Lots of cuts happening around the horizontal stack. Not very tidy, but Cortez has found space. She's put that behind her teammate, had a second go at it. They've kept possession. Everything heading forward. Dumps are well covered. Miller retreats. Hammer shot put up. Copland has drifted out on his own. Landed not quite inbounds. Puts a hammer up of his own into the lap of Lara Cortez. And why not? Show off for the cameras. Could have been a backhand, but
may as well go hammer to hammer. And
Yeah.
We can see there, we talked about it yesterday, Simon, focusing on the catch before trying to toe the line, and it's exactly what Copland did. Beautiful composure and then just a nice little hammer over the top to Cortez. Bit of a risky throw. She did have a defender on her. We could see that for a while, Blob were getting stuck on this lower sideline, struggling to get it off, recognising that throw was open across the field, and from there, the numbers screaming for Blob and nearly getting a hand on that block there.
You can see Copland just drifting up the top of screen now. It's because Du was coming in to kill those up-the-line options. And when you're marking a player like Copland, former Australian representative, very intelligent player, I don't think you can really afford to take your eyes off him too much, because he's going to recognise instantly what you're doing. And he goes, well, I know what you're trying to do, so I'm just going to drift out to the opposite. And again, it's just trusting the thrower. It's like, I'm fairly confident she can get it out here. Because one of two things happens. Either you open for the hammer shot, or he would have drawn Kelvin out of that space to open up space for his teammates. Like, not every cut has to be about getting the disc. You've just got to create some opportunities for your teammates, and then capitalise on any that open up as a result. I was been talking with some other coaches yesterday. You get to a certain level of play where it's not up to the cutter. Like, if you're a cutter, once you hit a certain level of play, it's not up to you if you're open. It's up to the thrower to decide you're open. You might not think you're open, but the thrower does.
Yeah, well, as long as you're cutting in front of that defender the whole time, and you keep moving, the throwing skill of players in Australia is just only getting greater and greater, and we're seeing just the shots that they're able to hit. Just fantastic as Josh Phillips displaying that skill. In the middle of the field now, Lee puts the arms out, gets rewarded with the throw, and he's going to make a look up the line. Josh Phillips with a fantastic grab. It's been called not in, and he's going to have to come back to the line.
So his first point of contact with the disc wasn't in the end zone. Not many cuts obliging. They're first none, then they all come at once, and Wilson has caught that. Yeah, that. Okay, righto. Let's discuss this one, JP. So it can be a bit cheeky sometimes if you just sort of catch and then immediately say, yep, that's the goal, put it down. But you've got to have held full control of this. I want to see this one again, because I wasn't. Great grab, great closing speed by Phillip. Let's have a look at this one. So Wilson just snuck across because his defender took his eyes off him, and bang. Okay, all right, we'll give him that one. But I'm keeping my eye on you, Wilson.
It was a speedy catch, a very casual celebration. I think we can definitely see there that disc rotation had stopped, trapped between two body parts, and
we'll call that.
You should usually wait for the other team to signal that they are happy with that being a goal. And perfect example with Josh Phillips catching it there, but being called out. If he had to celebrate and thrown that on the ground, it'd be a turnover. So always make sure that it is definitely declared a goal. And although a casual celebration, still a goal nonetheless. Kelvin's able to get a hold there, using the width of the field. Josh Phillips really able to break through that defensive blob. 1 minute he's in the handler space, next minute cutting upfield, and a beautiful upline throw to open up that end zone. And they got a little bit stuck there at that front post of Josh Phillips. He did have to make a little bit of a bladey flick to land it in Wilson's lap, but a goal nonetheless. Just over 60 minutes into this game so far. Plenty of time for Cohen's Angels to hopefully get another break here and force Blob to turn it over.
Flat marking here, so they're really cutting off those deep long throws, but Copland gets it under the arm, finds Mickael. Mickael's put it long. Here comes Reeves again. No theatrics this time. Just a simple clap catch. Thrown to his advantage, and the closing speed of Reeves there has just been phenomenal so far today.
Yeah, I think both the long throws we've seen him go for, we've thought he's not getting there, and then all of a sudden just turns the burners on. A fantastic weighted throw, just nice and flat. We can see two players going long with an undercut as well. So the unders was open, two players in the deep, and a little bit disappointed we didn't see maybe a cartwheel on the catch or something like that. But
I think he had the end zone like that too, man. He's probably thought, I'll just play this safe one. But I think that comes back to an example of it's not up to the cut. Sometimes it's up to the cutter to decide you're open. It's up to the thrower. I think Reeves was heading deep. I think I'm pretty well covered here. But then the throw went up from Kelly to the other side of him. And you can just sort of see momentarily go, oh, okay, that's me. And had to curve around and double back to chase it down. But great throw by Mickael.
And we sometimes see players, they're cutting with the anticipation of being thrown the disc, and so they don't put as much effort, whereas you want to be cutting flat out, and then you'll get rewarded with the disc if you break it for your player, and that's up to the thrower then to decide that they think that throw is on. Whereas if you're sort of half cutting, your defender's going to be with you the whole time. You're burning only your own energy. And so, fantastic recognition from the thrower there to just put that in the back of the end zone. And again, all those throws have just been perfectly weighted into the back of the end zone, nearly running out of space every time, but just a perfect spot.
Yep.
Great discipline on the choice of shot selection from Blob, and once again, just keeping that 3-goal lead there, sitting comfortable at the moment.
We just saw a shot there of Laura Cortez from Blob talking with Joe Bowen, our game official. That's very much a social catch-up. There's no disciplinary stuff happening there or complaints. They're just old friends having a natter. So Wilson to start offense now. Lee playing behind the disc. Got Philip playing downfield here. He's gone to the end zone. Wilson doesn't quite get the clean enough shot off that he wanted, so Harry White's able to clean that up. With the play with the speed of Philip going deep, you've got to shoot early. Lowry for Blob. It's Miller on the under. And Stack telling her to reset because we're a bit disorganised. We need a few more moments. Now they're a bit tidier. Now the long shots are coming. Out to the advantage of Amy Luau. Probably a bit too low. Faded away from her. Not a bad decision. Probably just not the shape of throw that she wanted there. So Wilson's going to restart quickly. Runs it up to the line. Philip under this time. Rachel Coe's put her head down, heading deep. Lee cutting away from the disc. Reset to Buxer. Wilson on the high side. Lee versus Hudson. Lee's lost his feet. He's recovered. Hudson's there, so I think Lee thought that shot might have been going wider than it did, so that's why he sort of tried to double back, tripped over his feet, and then had to go early. Just didn't really have a play at that one in the end.
Did lose the Sunnies as well in the middle of that cut, and the disc was coming right in the area of the sun too. But both teams so far taking a few shots, maybe tighter margins than they would like to try and hit here. We've seen some good composure in the last couple of goals, but both teams going for an interesting shot. And speaking of that, plenty of space out here in the back. The wind has picked up all of a sudden, so that disc bobbling up. We will see a 2-on-2 situation here in the end zone. Great composure from the throw. No mark stall count being applied currently, and just the patience there. The layout coming in. Goal has been indicated, I think, Simon. Although, yes, it will be a goal. Sometimes we're not sure if players don't indicate with their hand signals.
The frenetic pace of some of these points are happening that players getting to the end are just so knackered that we're not sure from their body language. If, is that what you wanted to happen? Is that, you seem upset.
Definitely had to work for it. The throw was put out in front of him, and literally just in the last 30 seconds, it's probably a little bit hard to see here on the cameras, but a slight breeze coming from left to right now on your screens, and you could see there from that long huck, it was almost mid-throw, the wind picked up and started to bobble it, so a great read of the disc, and again, the defenders choosing to cover to stop that score in the end zone, and the handler just saying, well, I've got all the time in the world. If you're not going to put a count on me, then I'll just sit here, wait for Blob to catch up, and we've seen the speed from Blob all game so far. They knew that the players were going to be flooding down there. Great composure and nearly a turnover, but a great layout grab nonetheless.
Yeah. If you're a young player, I want you to rewind a bit and have a look at how Eva Miller played that. What she did is, as soon as the throw went up, she had a quick look to see where the goal line was and thought, okay, that's where my bearings are. She thought, I think she made the instant decision that it's not going to be a goal, so just made sure she secured the catch. She had Harry White one out in the end zone, but she just waited and said, I can't get a clear and obvious shot, so I'm going to wait. And then what she did, she turned her back to the end zone and waited for a teammate. Said, I'm not getting it to Harry. So I'm just going to forget throwing the goal here. I'm going to turn my back to the end zone, waited to see options, and then when she saw Hudson completely on his own, only then she'd decide could she play the goal. So just composure, patience, that's the way to play it at the end of a long huck. She did very, very well there.
And you do get excited. You go, we've gained all this distance. I've got to play there. I want to throw it.
I want to get going.
And we should point out the fact that Kelvin's as well both dropped back, covered that solo player. And yes, it did mean a player was left out to the side, but ignoring the mark in that situation. The mark can stand there as long as they want if they've got no one to throw to. So better to cover the shot that's going to go into the goals. Wait for your team to catch up because you've just had to chase down that huck as well. But yes, fantastic composure from the handlers there. And Blob now take it to a 4.
That time the throw, not difficult one to...
That's really good. Keep swinging.
And again, she has a good long look upfield for sort of stall 1, 2.
Great work from Kelvin so far. We've heard the calls from the sidelines being just keep swinging, keep moving the disc, keep making Blob run. And Hammerhand doing a great job, cutting back up into the cutter space, dropping back again into the handlers, just waiting. The defense getting stretched deep. They had 2 of Kelvin's Angels players sitting there in the deep there, trying to get out the way. And it looks like Cortez now has regained her feet at least, and hopefully the main thing is checking that first the players are all right before worrying about what happened during the play.
Yeah. So there's no foul call. It's just there was just injury stoppage. Cortez not obliged to substitute because the injury was a result of a collision. But she's allowed to take a moment, just regain herself, check she's okay. Probably check she's not bleeding more than anything, and then gets to play on. Fakes the hammer shot, and you can see the deep players from Blob biting on those because this team's shown that they will throw them if they're on. So they've started to close in this defense now, and the offense is closed in with him. So Blob will move. There's the get out throw. Hammerhand's got Miranda Wang wide. Miller attempted to have a bite, but lets that one go. Activity downfield has dried up a bit, and I think Lai was shaping to cut up the line, but had to reach back for that one. And I think Blob did well there just to sort of really cover the deep shots, make Kelvin's Angels throw lots of passes so they got impatient. And just really held position more than anything rather than chasing blocks. Reeves finds Kelly. Kelly in power position. Fires it down the line. That was a difficult one to try and collect from full stretch near the ground. Cortez hitting the deck again.
Kelvin's doing a great job to just get this disc back on the high side again. They'll be looking to hopefully stay a little bit more composed during these throws, and they've been patient. Brown's been sitting out back deep in the end zone, trying to stretch that one deep player, and we are seeing Blob calling for an extra person to come back. So hopefully stretching this zone a little bit more. A floaty throw coming up over the Flik. The throw
too far.
Too high, too far, having to try and toe the line to reel that one in, and Blob going to get another opportunity to take themselves to 13.
Because we've got the exclusion area on the sideline, just keeping the players back from the... As Reeves takes a beautiful long shot looking for Kelly, but to return the favour from earlier, but Dell gets up and closes that down. We've got an exclusion line, so players are further back from the sideline than they usually are, and sometimes there can be a little bit of a, there's plenty of space over there. And so the throw can sort of get a bit wild and then realise, oh, wait, they're not standing on the sideline, they're standing back. So timeout's been called by Blob there. Sometimes you'll see this happen. There's been a bit of a few turnovers. Fatigue is sort of starting to set in and making mistakes because of that. So they've called this timeout just to regain their composure, grab a quick drink. We're going to take a very brief break. We'll be back ourselves after this timeout. Play about to restart after a midpoint timeout called by Kelvin's Angels. The rules out of a timeout, so offense get to set up, but once they are set, and then defense is allowed to set up. So typically you see a zone set up by defense out of a timeout. For that reason is that you're forcing offense to respond on the fly. So that's the advantage you get from the team that didn't call timeout, really, is you get to set that up. So Lai sneaks it through, Hammerhand. Lai to Wang. She's got Brown with an option, well covered by Miller. Back to Lai. They've just got to go more lateral and make Blob have to work a few more shuttle runs. There we go. Hammerhand sneaking through. Brown with the let out, looking for Sealy. Just rushed that throw. Just again faded away from her, pretty low. Sealy did well to close it down, but it's hard to pick it up off your laces at full speed. Lowry to Kelly. Cuts have dried up now. Some tired legs out there. Moriarty obliging on the low side, but Reeves has high again. Miller. Cortez. Reeves throws a bit too short. Again, another fatigue mistake there, JP. As the clock starts getting up, we're going to get close to 80 minutes here, so this point's gone off for some time now, especially with that timeout call. Wang. Blob holding that zone. They've managed to reset it and getting pinned to the sideline. Scuba thrown up by Brown. Hammerhand. 1-2. They're going to start closing in on Hammerhand, I think, this defense. They know that she likes to crash through the cup like that. Dewey drops back behind the disc. Lie. Brown's gone deep now. Can't get too impatient here yet. Stop, don't take shots yet. There we go. Wayne gets that get out cut there. Well worked that time. Gemma Sealy with the goal. You can see hands on knees, heads down. Players trying to get the oxygen back in. Marathon point to that one and brings it back to 12-9 to the advantage of Blob.
It's probably the longest point we've seen during this game so far, with it. Few turnovers back and forth. Kelvin's doing a fantastic job to swing the disc so far across the field. You can see Blob at some points during that really having to swing the disc and run super hard to keep up with the swinging of the disc, and Kelvin's just able to hold on to it. See the open player there. Hammerhand able to look again, and just an easy throw. Light little flick. Took that half a second just to compose before making that throw. Sometimes you catch it and you go to throw it before it's even in your hands, and when you've got a player that's so open like that, she had the time to put it into the front of the end zone. And Kelvin's Angels going to need to get another one on the board here with not much time left in this game to at least try and take it to the soft cap and hold on. Winner of this game going into the semi-final, our other semi-final, going to be Southern Hills against Half Moon.
See Half Moon warming up with a game of cricket. If you could not hit it towards us, that'd be great. Thank you. So, less than two. Expensive production equipment here, guys. So, Blob starting offense deep in their own end zone. Fair distance to travel. Good attacking cuts here. Hudson through the middle, Copland. Shapes to go deep. White's called, he's got open. Wilson's called a pick because he had to sort of pull up a bit to avoid the collision. You can see there as White streaked across and this next one here. Just to avoid collision, Wilson had to pull up, which obviously meant he lost the advantage chasing. So it'll go back to Copland, and they're just got to all, the chat now is just agreeing, hey, where was everyone before this throw came off? So Copland unguarded at the moment, so no count. Phillip coming in to mark him. So Copland gets a long look upfield. Hudson, Kelly well carded by Lee. Louth coming in through the middle. Copland up the line. Cuts going everywhere now from Blob. Copland wheeling around. Hudson, short one up the line. Cuts coming towards him. Some coming away. No deep shot on. Wants to reset. They're losing ground. The stack's very deep here at the moment. Kelvin's Angels is having to cut the undercuts, and Cat Buxer goes big. Doesn't get onto it. No call made. Well, was a little contact, so it's going to pause and take a moment to restart as the pivot resets. Copland just heading back to where he was when the stoppage was called, so moment to catch their breath. So our game clock's ticked over 80 minutes. Ours is not the official game clock, so but it is not far off, so it's likely we will finish this point. If Blob score it, it is game over. And the shot goes up from Copland. There's two players there that can raffle out. Neither of them go for it. Luau said yours. Miller said yours. They've both looked at each other and gone, well, it's no one's.
Beautiful throw. Started that off with a big flick IO to make sure that that wind wasn't affecting it. There's a little bit of breeze that's picked up now, and I think that's why Blob were hesitating on that deep shot. They finally pick it because it was a 2-on-1 contest in the end zone. I think Kelvin's Angels will be happy with the fact, one, they get the disc, and two, they got a little bit of a reprieve from running around the field for another lengthy point here as Wilson will come in to retrieve the disc.
So this will be game. The siren has gone, so it's effectively game to 13. If Blob score this one, the margin's too great for the game to continue. If Kelvin's Angels come in, the target changes to 13. So this is crucial offensive possession, and White going big. Wilson winds up. He's got plenty of players. Buxer goes in early to meet it. Back to Lee. Lots of players streaking deep. Buxer, Wilson working through the middle. Big wide outside shot looking for Rachel Coe. And Kelvin's Angels keep the game alive. It is game to 13.
Fantastic composure. We can see there a huge bid coming out from Blob on the layout block, and that just left Wilson in a power position. A little bit of a floaty one into the wind there. Buxer being so impactful. Wilson loves a good give-go. Beautifully placed outside in backhand to just land in the top corner of that end zone there. And the defender of Blob nearly able to get in front of that one. And Kelvin's Angels will be happy to keep this game alive, fighting for a position in the semi-final here. So Blob really going to need to stay composed during this, hopefully for them, final point, and make sure that they don't turn over this disc, because Kelvin's are looking dangerous at the moment.
And quick around the grounds in the 15 to 18 semis, Cat by SCU up 11-6 over Muhaha. And Monash Uni Nats up 8-7 on Ready Player 7. So the two winners of that one will play for 15th. That'll be on live stream later today. And the 5 to 8 semis, Adley's Eshes up over Adobo 14-5. Looks like their dream runs come to a bit of an end. And other game happening in the 19 to 22 semis, Ballarat, Syzygy tied 13 all currently. So lots of close games happening today.
Wow, that's we saw Syzygy on stream yesterday giving it a good run, and yeah, Ballarat unfortunately not with a win on the board yet at this tournament, so they'll be looking to try and take out Syzygy, and lucky for me, whoever wins that one, I believe A-Wolf will be playing against. So
you want them to wear each other out now, don't you?
If they are happy to wear each other out at 13-all, we're very happy with that, but hopefully Blob have worn out Kelvin's Angels a little bit here and go on to the O. That pull is fantastic. Sitting up, it's going to give the opportunity for Kelvin's to get right up onto this disc and make sure that they can make a cut and really press up on that defense.
Lowry finds Moriarty. Blob need to score this one. Kelvin's Angels need to score 3, so Blob will want to put this one away. There is a slight breeze going left to right, so they are shooting downwind. Copland puts it to Harry White. He's put his head down too far from him. The wind did carry it, and so Kelvin's Angels have possession.
It's exactly what Kelvin's Angels wanted. They wanted to force them to throw it deep, and Blob would have known that making sure that one turnover could potentially mean they concede another goal, and we will see Kelvin's Angels getting another chance to bring this back with the score being a 2-goal deficit so far. Josh Phillips going to be the man in the hour to walk up and take this disc. Every throw so crucial here. One turnover, especially this deep into their own end zone, could mean their tournament runs over.
This is a very, very deep stack. So Josh Phillips has just called out Sam Lee to come towards the front of the stack, so they might want to try and isolate the matchup he's got. Moriarty recognises. They're going to run a bit of a bracket play here on defence. And the long shot's gone up to Kelvin Do. Nicole Wong's there to challenge, but can't quite get high, which allows Moriarty to drop back out of the end zone. Hammerhand now with the disc. Back to Phillip. Wilson streaking deep. Not many cuts coming towards the throwers. They're just going to have to recycle. Bounce it a couple of times. Phillip finds Miriam Randawang. Kelvin do. About 10 minutes from the doorstep now. Finds Kat Buxer in the corner. And brings it back to 12-11.
We have a one-goal game. Blob opting to shoot long early in that point, leaving the disc in Kelvin's Angels' hands. Not many throws required to work that up from the front of their end zone there. Some fantastic cuts coming out. Beautiful throws and just hitting the front of that end zone. Bucks have been so important during this game so far. And a bit of a risky throw coming over the top there to Kelvin do, but able to take it down. A little bit of collision. A fantastic throw from Josh Phillips to land that one right in the clasp of Kelvin do. And from there, the field was opened up. A great swing to the side there. Beautiful patience shown, and we can see here Bucks are just streaking towards the front of that end zone. Easy crocodile catch for her, and a one-goal game now, 12-11. And Kelvin's going to be trying to work out what line do we send out here. We're going out on defense. The breeze has picked up a little bit. We know we forced Blob to throw long previously. Do we give him the unders and hope they make another mistake like that? And Kelvin's with a chance to tie this game up. There's no reason why they can't do it. They've sort of been off the back foot in this game. They started off 4-0 down and have managed to claw it back to be back within one. So they've done well to get a few breaks on the board, a few missed throws. The wind's not wreaking too much havoc, but just that little bit that's making Blob's long throws not be as easy to come off now. And we will see a female pool coming out here for what Blob would like to hope is their last point, but Kelvin's Angels need a break here.
I think they will still shoot. I don't think they'll change their offensive plan here. I think we're going to see either Kelly or Copland are probably going to target, I think maybe Amy Luau or possibly Brad Reeves here. They might. I think they'll work it up to about their brick mark, if it's not already there. And I think they'll isolate a deep cutter and shoot because, hey, if this one doesn't come off, they've got offense again that they can play tidier. So you don't really want to change your offensive plan just because we're in overtime, because that can, just anything that sort of unsettles the regular plan. But Hammerhand's going to give them great field position here with this pull, putting him back 64 from goal. Miller. They've got just a straight match look. They've miscalculated their matches. Mike Kelly's got a couple steaming deep. He's sent it down to Reeves. He goes up early, high. He's put the foot down. He's scored the goal. Some players calling go to Kelvin's Angels. They've relented the goal, and that's game over. That was a terrific throw, terrific catch. And while Kelvin's Angels rallied a bit there in the second half, JP, Blob have taken this one out and win their way through to the semi-finals.
And as you said, no game plan change there. We knew they were going to want to shoot deep, and Kelvin's all game just really forced to have to look, do I have to guard the unders, do I guard the deep? And just the speed of the cuts coming out from Blob both ways, just really difficult to work out what they have to cover, and Blob just able to capitalise on that fantastically.
So Blob will be staying on field one. They'll be taking on Oblivion in the semi-final, happening in about 12 minutes, 11:40 a.m. local time, while Kelvin's Angels will be through to the 5th to 8th semi-final bracket and cast their eyes towards the... actually, no, this is their last tournament. They just play this for a bit of fun. I don't know if they're going on, but whatever they choose to do, good on them for having a go and making it through to the quarterfinals. Jared Pearce, thank you very much for joining us. You've got to race off and play your last game for the tournament now. Simon Talbot here signing off. Ulti TV, live and free all weekend, thanks to Ultimate Victoria and Latrobe City Council. We'll see you for semi-finals soon.
Ulti.tv